I can only dream of.
While Vineet was out with those fancy SUVs, Akshay decided to do something totally different. He went back in time, spent a day with Vespa scooters and gets to know more about them.
झलक हो गए हम पागल सामने ये कौन आया दिल में हुई हलचल देख के बस एक ही झलक हो गए हम पागल अरे बातें मुलाकातें हमसे भी तो होंगी अरे हमसे मिलेंगे वो आज नहीं तो कल.
Alright, so who's the man who's made this adventure of mine possible? Well, there he comes on the beautiful Lambretta. Sunny Paji. Sunny Paji, ki gal hai?
Hello Akshay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So good to see you found someone special then.
Oh yes, I found someone special. She's red, she's hot and she's a Vespa.
Yeah.
What about you? Are there any other beauties in your life apart from these?
I can't tell you on national TV.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about these. Tell me about this Vespa. How old is she and which year what model?
This is possibly the most known Vespa model in the world, known as Vespabretta, which happens to be the most. This is roughly 1963.
1963, so we're talking some 40 years ago.
Yeah, good 40 years.
What about this beauty?
This is a Lambretta Li Series 2, produced in 1967.
1967.
Yeah.
So we are driving some things which are approximately 40 years old and they look as good as new. So when did you get into this business of restoration of these beautiful vintage scooters?
It's a funny story. It all started 7 years back. When we were only selling scooter parts, and a very good friend of mine came from UK, where this thing is really big with vintage bikes and stuff, and asked me to build one bike for him.
Okay.
And since then, this is all we are doing.
This is all you're doing. Yeah. So how simple is it? Is it like a easy task, like how you take a woman to a salon, she does her hair, she does makeup, and then there's a makeover? Is this makeover that simple?
No, it's very difficult. It's much more than that.
Okay.
Yeah. I will show it to you when I take you to my shop.
All right then.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
This is where the work begins.
Yeah, this is where all the work at Vespabretta begins.
But isn't this like junk? I mean, look at these things.
Well,
what are these things? I mean, okay.
The first stage is what we do is we strip the bike.
Uh-huh.
We can send it to the sandblaster. Yeah. Then it goes to the body shop, and from the body shop it goes to the paint shop, and then from the paint shop it comes back to us.
Okay.
And then we started putting things together.
But tell me something. I see a lot of junk lying around here. Where do you source this stuff from?
Well, that's the most difficult part, but we source it from all over.
Okay.
And let me tell you a very interesting story. I mean, the first bike I bought, Vespa, to restore for myself, there was an elderly gentleman, say 65, 70 years old.
Huh.
I mean, in middle of a hot day, he was pushing his bike. I still remember dark blue Vespa in the middle of the road. He ran out of gas or something. I think his bike was broken.
Huh.
And I saw that perfect opportunity. I said, this is a stressed out guy. He will sell it if I push myself.
Huh.
I said, uncle, what's the problem? Oh, I'm tired of this, I said, sell it to me. I'll buy this bike from you.
Okay.
And in 20 minutes, he decided to sell that bike to me, and that was my first buy.
That was your first buy.
That was the first blood,
But tell me something. What about the original parts? Where do these parts come from?
People discontinued, making these parts.
Sure. I mean we're talking about some 60.
Yeah, these parts
years.
are out of business. If you go to some shop and they laugh at you, what are you talking about? This bike is dead. But somehow we convinced them if we buy enough parts from you, and they started producing again. And there were few people who still had the dies and molds for it.
Okay. And you put them all together in the other place where you have a workshop where you're painting and all that. So can we go there and see what it looks like?
Of course, yes.
Alright, so here we are from the warehouse. We've reached the salon where all the denting, painting and all the beautification happens.
Yes, correct.
So tell us, Sunny, who's ordering these from you? What are your clientels like?
Like Europe and USA and UK. Any bike that's manufactured from a workshop most certainly goes to UK.
Okay.
Because I mean, they have a Lambretta culture. The bike culture is as such that they have been riding these bikes since forever. And that's about UK, but France, Belgium.
And also, how much does it really cost? I mean, let's say if somebody is giving you a scooter and says, Sunny, restore the scooter for me, whether it's a Lambretta or a Vespa, approximately how much goes into it?
It totally goes on the specification on which they order.
Achha.
It can go from, say, 45,000 to even 1.5 lakhs.
Okay.
Per scooter.
Okay. 45,000 to
Maybe
1.5
even more,
lakhs.
yeah.
Maybe even more.
Yeah.
And how much time does it take for you to build an entire scooter?
On an average, say, from the time we strip to the time she's ready to go, it's 2 weeks.
Okay.
But sometimes when the work is very specific and very hard, and sometimes the waiting period can go as much as 3-4 months.
3-4 months. So
Yes.
from 2 weeks till about 3-4 months, and from 45,000 to about a 1.5 lakh, you're saying is what the cost goes into it. But tell me something, Indians, let's talk about the Indian market. Are people really interested in scooters? Because we've had Bajaj as a successful thing. Do people over here want to get scooters like the Lambretta or the Vespa?
Very good question. People really love these bikes in India. I have seen young kids who have never seen these bikes like Lambrettas and Vijay Super. They come to me and say, what kind of bikes are these? These are beautiful. Then I say that maybe your father was riding these bikes, but they say, why are these bikes disappearing from Indian roads? So these are beautiful, but the cost still is a big major factor as far as the Indian market goes.
So Sunny, tell me something. I see this logo here. What's the significance?
This is a splash logo, very synonymous with Lambretta, as Lambretta of Italy was owned by Innocenti, and Innocenti had two partners. One was more into the designing and one was more into the other things, and somehow they developed a rift between themselves, and everything one used to do other than like. So one day the designer guy made a design and the owner didn't like. The designer guy was so frustrated that time there were fountain pens. He threw the ink all over the design.
Seriously.
And that this flash sign is
has become a part of the entire design, and now this is one of the series of Lambretta. Okay, well Sunny, thank you so much for giving us your time. You've told us how does a scooter start from scratch, and we've come out with these beautiful looking things. I mean, silver, red, sparkling colors, vibrant colors. So we're going to take a break over here. You can take a break, but I'm going nowhere because I'm going to enjoy my ride in another Vespa. Well, talking of rides, this has been quite an adventure for me.
तेरे को बोला था मैंने 5 फीट का डिफरेंस साला समझ में नहीं आ रहा तुझे भी.
For the record, our driver is in the head. He doesn't understand what 5 meters is.
Time to hit the brakes for just a bit, but when we come back, Volvo XC60's journey through the Jim Corbett National Park continues.